Unfortunately, if your support does not push their button at the proper time, you will lose this game. Last week, I had this guy in my game. His name was Namor One Trick 2GM, but if you check his profile, he was a Rocket player. Every time he load into a game, he'd just be like, oh boy, I can't wait to play my favorite character. And then half the time you get banned. Then he just flicks Rocket. Arthas is hard zooming right now. Good luck. We'll tank him. Groot on the high ground. Where are you going, bro?
So CoffeeZilla made a video about this, and I feel like that's the way that everybody feels. 2 days before becoming president, again, Donald Trump launches a meme coin that vests during his presidency. That's right.
Trump just launched a meme coin. Welcome back to the Void. This is not how I wanted to start my 2025. Let me tell you that right now.
You know he just woke up.
Here's the tweet. My new Donald Trump official meme is here. It's time to celebrate everything we stand for. Winning. Join my very special Trump community. Get your Trump now. Go to gettrumpmemes.com. When you go there, you join the Trump meme, which is buying something and hoping it goes up in value. Currently, that stands at a $13 billion market cap. Because nothing.
It's gone down since then. If you look at it right here, it's now at a $5.1 billion market cap. So it's actually gone down by $800 million since I started this stream.
Matters, which you know is great.
Yep.
I think that's cool. I think that's awesome. In addition, $12 million has been made in fees already just on the trading volume.
Man.
Which is over $1 billion so far.
Nice.
And, I think that's even better. I'm joking. I don't even know. I'm speechless, actually. I don't know what to say. It's historic in its stupidity. It's historic in its grift. The level
You'll
of
need a top-notch team to win this one.
The days before your presidency, your inauguration, to use that as a hype project for the meme. Like, did this guy want to do the presidency the second time, or was this the meme coin hype plan? We're 2 days away, okay? Understand, we are 2 days away from an inauguration. I mean, should he be writing a speech? He's launching a meme.
I don't know if we'll even have one. We'll probably just get up there and start talking.
I quietly put out.
It's insane,
you have no
man.
idea.
I can't. I actually. So I don't know if this is a
30
good or a
seconds
bad
before you
thing.
attack.
But when
Get
I
ready.
read that Trump was launching a meme
Open
coin,
your
somebody
eyes.
told me.
Reality.
I was like,
cloud, and storm.
Like I wasn't like, oh, there's no way. Like I went to check it,
power
right, to see.
Something.
But it's like I immediately, my first thought was, yep.
That's the start of it. That's the start of the grift. Then you have to understand.
The battle
The
starts in
content
5,
doesn't-
4, 3,
Which
2,
has no one. No one
1.
Only 20% goes to the public. 10% went to the
Help get that vehicle to
and
its
10%
destination.
went to the public allocation. Here's the rest of it.
Is this gonna bail out Hawk 2?
Trump.com. Yes, I thought at first this was an hack. I was like, there's no way. They also have Trump's social post about it, Phantom Wallet, verified it. I hope.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that whenever this came out, that it was actually just like a joke or a mistake.
Happy to help.
But the fact is that no,
That was brutal.
no, it's real. They thought Trump had
Tremble.
Follow this
I
enemy.
am more
No.
than just a trickster.
I'll patch you up. Everything that I will wake up
I will
and find,
always
I will say that if this is wrong, and this is just sort of an initial reaction, follow up if there still come out. Seems like a straightforward grip for me. But I hope that I'm wrong.
Trump's gonna rug pull the day after the inauguration and pardon himself easy.
You're welcome.
This is real firepower!
That spark, it hurt.
Oh my god.
but at least at first glance,
Your powers are mine, Judge! Jury! Executioner!
the hype to launch a move so insane. I mean, it's funny in its insanity, but it's also
Probability chances that Trump brings it up at the inauguration speech. Go.
I never thought I'd care so much about
Track racing.
right out.
Okay.
Very good.
There we go.
There! Don't turn back now!
Bring on the chaos.
You're in my storm.
Your powers are mine!
gross in-house. It really is. And you have to understand, most people who actually buy this are
I'm doing this
diehard
my way.
teaching crypto heads might make some money all day on deck streamers looking for coins, and they copy
Healing is
them.
good healing.
Or they copy them.
Get that vehicle moving again!
They're gonna make money.
Yeah.
Most people
I
who
lift up my comrades.
which is normal.
Only 60 seconds left!
Real firepower!
What Bitcoin was? What's a smart contract? Can I buy it with a credit card? Like, are people buying this with a credit card? Game over. Obliterated. You're gone. Done.
You could have said the same thing about the
And then, by the way, of course, the third group.
Magic
besides,
is not to be
snipers,
owned,
people,
but to be felt.
legions who are looking for this for the money. People are going to get wrecked. The other people who money. Like, obviously, are the insiders. Number one, the part of the Trump team is new to
Behold the god of thunder!
right when it lost. Who are going to make money? Are the insiders who are going to get the rest of this community?
I don't.
So basically, Trump launched this through CIC Digital, who I think launched according to this article by
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner!
owned by Donald Trump.
Armed and dangerous!
I am Asgard's might!
Never thought I'd care so much about fire. Right out.
Like, I feel like nobody does it like Donald. This is on another level.
I am
It's like he's selling bodies.
Vehicle reached the checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
He's got shoes. He's got watches. He's selling crypto. Like,
Be careful.
like, what the fuck?
So
The university,
kind of
yeah.
unclear exactly.
NFTs,
the
yeah.
licensing deal for this. Is he just one of the guys? It's not that clear. But let's just break down.
I am strengthened for battle.
Right out.
While we still exist.
I can't believe this is happening.
I'll patch you up.
It's so fucking ridiculous.
This is real firepower!
By the eye.
They're all
Should be illegal.
very
It's
obscure.
not.
You know,
I'm
Well,
flying
maybe it
traders
is.
and CIC Digital.
by the eye of Opportunity.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. That's
The
all
Sorcerer
description we get,
Supreme
at least on this
returns.
page. And you can see that they're not locked up at the
Get
start.
that vehicle moving again!
The 12 months locked. So, over 3 years, all of the unlocked token will be diluted by the that 80%. What I think is so simple about this is that they're fully invested so it's like there's no way that they're not value from the Trump base and DJ, of course, but it's insane. It's like gonna be the historic rift. I honestly can't believe it.
I
I'm
am
like,
strengthened for battle.
you think that
Down to 30
because
seconds.
it's just starting. Like, if you really think that this is gonna be it, it's gonna stop. This is gonna be the last thing.
This is real firepower!
But yeah, no,
10 seconds.
how could this not?
Armed and
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
But it's like I saw a tweet.
People usually don't let me into shrines.
Somebody goes, "Crossing is legal," and that's how I kind of felt about that.
Vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
I mean, to say it's a conflict of interest is like, you know, insulting all the people who've had conflicts of interest before. It's so crazy to use the presidency in this manner to pump a meme coin
Makes me
to
feel
enrich
good.
yourself, insiders, and basically everyone but your standard, right? Because the standard Trump guy,
Only 60 seconds left.
they aren't like, you know, maybe a little bit like a part of
It's my protection.
That's it. Don't let anything
crypto
stand in your way.
turnaround he's done in the last.
The enemy is
But
here.
besides those two,
Your country is a joke. How are you not embarrassed about that? I don't I used to care a lot about what's going to happen and trying to, like, you know, get upset about it.
Down to 30
But
seconds.
the truth is that I can't really do a lot to stop this. I can't.
armed and dangerous!
Your big chance.
Your powers are mine!
Just watch it happen.
Final 10 seconds.
you've already got the coin before you watch this. They already got the coin. It's exactly.
Armed
And that's what
Mortal
gross
You'll
part
have
of
to
this
keep
whole
fighting
thing.
until we have a
It's not,
winner.
you're not only doing it.
This is real firepower!
Man! I'm gonna, yeah, I'm gonna get wrecked with this one. Look,
Our enemies are here.
website, the old warning plate, no problem with it.
Odin's spear.
Yeah, I wonder
I
why.
put out new paid to purchase same. Just sold that. Nice.
Come back here!
This totally wasn't thrown together
The
last
current
minute,
score
guys.
is
Last
2
minute
to
to take
0.
advantage of this incoming
Time to
inauguration
switch things up,
of the president
including
of the
which
free
side
world.
you're
The
on.
Trump meme website states that it is not political.
right
and has
heroes
nothing
could make
to do
all
with
the
any
difference.
political campaign or political office.
Reality
How?
is but an
Government agency.
illusion.
Honestly,
Go ahead.
I think there's
Go
I
ahead.
think they're gonna backtrack on this one. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, there's no way they fully embrace this. It's too insane.
Why?
Round 2.
I would
Go.
knit the dimensions back together
Why
if
would
it
you
were
think
within
that they're
my
not
power.
going to do it? It worked. Yeah, they're gonna make money. Exactly. Yeah, it's banking on idiots.
They'll be
Well,
coming
yeah,
in
they
30
already
seconds.
tweeted out.
Stay
Like, how
strong.
are they gonna backtrack on it? I feel like backtracking on it would be worse than
Mantis,
anything.
people keep calling me Grump.
Yeah, they can't
Am I
do
grumpy?
that.
Well,
They're stuck.
You are stretched thin lately.
Yeah, I think
My
this is
two
fine.
missed the
Well, I'm saying, like,
jailbreaks.
this is
I'll
just the
call
norm.
Drex. You're a sweetheart,
That's what I would say. I
Mantis.
think this is the
Why the
fucking
hell?
norm. This is how it's gonna
Wait,
be,
what?
guys. Yeah, and there's no way they can go
The
back
battle
on it now.
starts in 5, 4.
They're gonna pretend
3,
that they weren't like,
2,
behind this. They're gonna.
1.
I don't know what they're gonna do. Actually. I don't know. Every time I think it's like
Such newfound
it's
power.
like
They haven't even gotten.
You need to stop that
it's so
vehicle
insane
in its
because
tracks.
Trump was like, you know, doing this whole crypto thing. I know people can say, oh, he's been in crypto for a little bit. He was still pretending to be like on the sort of like, oh, we're trying to doing like NFTs for the art.
Right.
Remember the AI generated, or it looks AI generated thing where Trump's like ripped in the Superman outfit, super cringe. And then he did the World of the Financial where they were trying to do a fork of
judgment.
They were at least saying that we're going to have to do it. What I find interesting about this is that this is doing something. The distribution also, you have to understand, guys.
My
I
life
know
was
some of
in
you
peril.
watching this maybe aren't crypto people. This distribution is like insane. The crypto people are going to get behind this because they're sycophants who want to suck where the government is going to help them because they've been like picked on.
This is actually a really good component. I never even thought about this.
I purge the darkness. This is real firepower!
Show this is like, oh yeah, we're gonna be
Excellent
okay
forms,
with
dear
this
Mantis.
because we think Trump will play ball with us and will continue passing things that are pro-crypto. I think that's a really good point. Yeah, I never even thought about that. That's like a second order thing. It's not really involved.
Behold the god of thunder!
By the government for a while, so they're just going to suck up power because they on the shot. You'll see a lot of people be like, oh, 80%. That's fine. That's not.
That was brutal,
It's
Frank.
not. Maybe for like a layer 1 token where there's going to be like
Our enemies are near.
work. Then monetize the back end, support development work for years to come. This is a new one. There's no development. It's done. They're just
I am
80% of the value. Hey, zero sum game.
Castle
It's
wind
a
down
zero sum
fighting.
game where the last person holding the dollar and they're taking 80% of value. Need I say more? For no reason. For no reason. Not a justification. Hey guys, we're gonna like develop this.
There is no development plan. All of this stuff is fiat currency. There's no value that this is going to create or do anything for.
Sure. Sometimes I
I mean,
forget.
like,
Only
you were
60
fucking
seconds
on
left.
board, right? I mean, I don't know really how people think this is not. But that's clearly what it is. Bro just learned how crypto works. Yeah, I mean, it's and so I don't even really see how people can be confused about this. Yeah, that's why it's always been.
At least with World Liberty Financial, they were pretending. They had like they were like, oh, this is real firepower. All right, well, look, I'm tired for a lot What a start to the year.
Final 10 seconds.
Oh, man.
You stop them in their
Can we just reset this?
Excellent forms, dear Mantis.
final score.
I think that this is
2-0.
only the beginning. I do. I think this is only the beginning, and it's only it bros
Another
overreacting.
epic victory.
I think that it's really scammy, and like you guys know that I'm not a big Trump hater, right? I don't hate Trump. I don't think Trump is the worst person ever or anything like that. But I feel like there's also a lot of people who do a little bit too much like justification for bad behavior. It's like, and this is the problem with a lot of people that are polarizing on the internet, is that they create a cult of personality that either completely like alienates people or completely captures them. So the truth is that Trump doing this is extremely scammy and really stupid. It's weird. It damages his credibility. It's probably going to hurt the people that are the most vulnerable to it because they're the ones that are going to be the least educated in what the topic is. In general, it's bad. What credibility? Well, he's the president. He has a lot of credibility. Whether you think that he does or he doesn't, he does have a lot of credibility in the mind of a lot of people. So, and this happens with a lot of people. It happens with people like Andrew Tate. It happens with Jordan Peterson. It happens with Elon Musk. It happens with people like me even. It happens with any content creator. And like anybody with a lot of opinions who's polarizing, there are people that end up like getting attached to them that think that everything that this person does is either bad or good. And the problem is that in every one of these cases, the reality is somewhere in between. And so what happens is that you have people that defend cases that are awful and they won't accept cases that are good. Like, for example, there are things that Andrew Tate says that are good advice. Now, you can devalue that and say, yeah, but other people say that, or whatever the other reason is. But at the end of the day, it is still factually true that Andrew Tate does say some things that are good advice. And I think that even, like...
Pick your hero.
If you
or
take out
villain.
his
I'm not
advice
judging.
surrounding women,
your eyes.
I would say that the majority
Reality
of
is
Tate's
but an
advice is good.
illusion.
I don't agree with a lot of his views on women, for sure. But like in terms of like, self-preservation, self-accountability, etc., I think that he's right with a lot of things. And he's a rapist? Yeah, well, see, that's like a view on women, so I'm not a fan of that. It's kind of like, we kind of already talked about that. Anyway, the point that I'm making, right, Asmon, come on, is that, am I crazy for saying this? I don't think that I am.
When science failed me.
Yeah, I don't. And this is the problem, is that as soon as you go against the grain with this kind of stuff, then I feel like you run into these problems. Chat's unable to reach a compromise. And I think this is a great point that I'm making, right? Is that, like, for example, like Elon Musk, it's completely fair to say Elon Musk probably didn't pay his POE account, right? And he's done some pretty stupid things in the past. But it's also fair to say that SpaceX seems pretty cool too. Both of these things can be
The battle
true.
starts in 5.
But the problem is that people
3,
become so emotionally
2,
attached to like
1.
their perception of these different
All you need to do
personalities
is capture the
that are
mission
super
area. Got it?
polarizing that it prevents them from looking at it in a logical perspective.
Find their way to Valhalla.
That's really
But
what the
all
issue
are
is. He's a pedophile, a
welcome
human
in
trafficker,
my
and a rapist. I'm not going to say that about him. He's not in jail for those things. If that's
Our
true, then
enemies
why
are
is he
near.
in jail? The Trojans got dropped.
Good medicine.
They did.
Looks like the mission
Like,
area
if
is
you
yours to
think that
capture
that's
now.
true, that's totally fine. But if the government,
Leave me,
money, like,
darkness.
okay, so like other people don't have money, you think Andrew Tate has sufficient money to have like a trafficking that's like international? No fucking way. He's not even close to that. Like, I mean, he's an important
We are
guy.
triumph
People know
friends.
him, but it's not even remotely close. So the chatter's proving your point. Yeah, in Romania, yeah, it's been like extradited. It's been elevated to that in a massive degree. And also, if Romania is, I don't understand this logic. So if Romania is corrupt and they put him in jail and he paid them off, how do you know that they weren't corrupt for putting him in jail in the first place? There's no logic to any of this thing. Like, I'm sorry, guys, but I was of the mind that Andrew Tate was guilty. I thought he was dead to rights guilty. I saw the evidence, I looked at everything, and I said to myself, you know what? I think this
By
fucker
the
did it.
shades of the seraphim, I
But the courts
return.
disagree. And who knows more about it? Me or the court? There you go. There are missteps in the procedure. while the actual
Against the world.
For my crows!
steps in the procedure or anything similar to that, that's fine. But don't expect me to take somebody seriously
medicine.
as a human trafficker if they're not in jail.
A nice
What
deep
convinces you
freeze.
that
I purge the darkness.
yeah, I'm not going to convict somebody when a court won't do it. This is like an insane internet logic thing, and I think it needs to stop. We're act like we have an understanding. It's like reading like articles about this and like looking at this from an outside perspective. Like we understand this better than like a bunch of people that are like looking into it. And I'm sure, by the way, I'm sure that the courts make mistakes. Absolutely,
medicine.
I'm sure about that. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that people are any better.
Insane. I hope it turns out I'm wrong.
You're welcome.
But I don't think I am. My final question I don't have answered. Fighting that,
By the eye of Agamotto.
bet that the price of Trump coin is
Destructible
going
area.
to catastrophic.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Alright, that's basically it.
I suck.
It's gonna be a long day.
It's been a little to be long. It's gonna be very long.
Leave me, darkness.
Look out behind you.
Let the darkness take
Against the world.
In fact, just mentioning the word gaming journalism only provoke mixed reactions. Almost every week, the same sentence pop up somewhere online. Remember, you don't gaming journalism. Whether it's in a comment section on a YouTube video, or a Facebook or Instagram post, or even on X, gamers seem to be it's a clear
I don't like
Better watch your back. My turn to...
like even the gaming journalists don't like themselves.
This is a nice mortal pain is no match.
find that gamers
You'll have to keep
genuinely
fighting until we have a
majority
winner.
of gaming journalism outlets just disappeared at this point.
They happen.
A
Yeah, they're
shortcut.
done.
Gamers used to love the likes of IGN, for example, because it felt like they were one of us. But now to see them lay off a lot more of their staff this month has sparked some interesting reactions online.
Dude,
A lo-
people, that's one of my favorite things is that when layoffs happen at a company
time
that people don't
entanglement
like,
is a
everybody
vexing
is like
problem.
spamming like W.
Even
They're
for
like,
the
yes,
Sorcerer
finally,
Supreme."
fire them all. Yeah, but if the job losses get worse, oh, they will. They absolutely will. What's going to end up happening is that the job
30
losses will
seconds before you
continuously
attack.
get
Get
more
ready.
and more extreme until it's basically just
I've met many
Right, I
Supremes
mean-
before. So
not going to be able to do anything.
what makes you so special?
Large part of the
Because I'm a
gaming
doctor,
community
I
celebrates
pull
this
people from
if
your
this
grip for a
result is a
living.
form of justice.
Also, I
Whereas
trust
another
you.
portion of the gaming community were saddened by the idea that the IGN they once loved has allowed itself
My
to go this far.
The
So how
battle
does it
starts
get
in 5.
How is it that gaming
4,
journalists, much like
3,
many AAA gaming
2,
companies,
1.
have become so disconnected from the
All you need
audience
to do is
that it's
capture
come
the
to
mission
this?
area.
Let's
Got
rewind
it?
for a second to what
Super easy how. I mean, they allowed people that had agendas to write things. It's the same thing that's happened to mainstream journalism. I think the reason why it's more pervasive and it's more,
gather.
it's more
I am strengthened.
identifying in gaming is because it's such a someone scratch my back. So you have like these
Dark magic.
Disappear!
and that causes people
Let's
to
go to the mission area.
realize the errors
Feel the wrath of the
because
goddess!
it's right. And so here's the thing. I said this before. How many times have you heard that in a mainstream publication? And it turned out that it's
Capture the
total
mission
bullshit
area!
because you're an expert in that field. Now, my skeptical mind tells me that if every article that I read that I understand is bullshit,
Good medicine.
then I would also assume that every article that I read that I don't understand is also bullshit.
A nice
I
deep
just don't
breath.
know.
I purge the darkness.
A lot of us remember as the golden age of gaming journalism.
Yeah.
Back then, gaming
Against the world!
they were a big deal they had they were this
By the eye of Agamotto.
speaking a language that every gamer could
Yeah, you
Disappear!
This was especially important at the time because of how
I am strengthened for battle.
Fine victory.
As God's might.
I'll never forget those moments when my mom would arrive back from her monthly grocery check. I'd race to the car because I knew she'd pick up a copy of either the
Yep.
PC format or the Mag magazine.
see, for me, it was, I would go to Jennifer Albertsons, like if it was a grocery store or grocery chain, and I would walk into Albertsons and there'd be like the magazine racks, and like halfway through, or like while my mom was waiting for the checkout line, I would go and sit down.
Good medicine.
Section and read them.
It was such a small thing, but my mom knew that it made me happy for the
You
rest of the
captured
week.
more than
I was
half of the
hooked
mission
on this
area.
magazine.
Keep going
Over
against the
time, I'd
world.
even figure out which of the
Eerily
writers
quiet.
had the territories of the games that
Unnaturally
we
sad.
and I always looked out for their names in these magazines.
Feel the
Many journalists used to deliver an amazing experience that a lot of us could relate to. When the internet was built, sites like
It was just like the time whenever you were a kid, and
By the eye of Agamotto!
it just had people writing about it. That people just really liked it. It was basically
By the eye of Agamotto!
like, I'm sorry,
Here is
but like
almost
watching
yours.
Ninja play Fortnite. is
I'm
not even
opening a
funny.
portal. Asgard's
Not
might!
like, I know, some kids might have, fond memories. Not even remotely close.
A shortcut
game
through
facts and
space!
game facts kept the end They weren't just published in magazines, they were about community. Forums were
By
always
the fangs
buzzing
of
at the same
Ferrara!
time.
We'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Because that's exactly what it was. It wasn't
I must be healed!
Turn around, quick.
that
I mean, the reason a lot of the Wild Gen stuff mattered is there were people that and Blizzard saw that and they said, well, we don't fucking launch the game. Maybe we're going to do it better, so let's find out. And then they got hired. Jeff Kaplan, I think, is a good example of that.
was about celebrating big events like E3 felt magical, where developers, journalists, and players came together to share in the excitement of announcements and reveals. It was a time when the line between fans and journalists was blurred. But like all golden ages, it didn't last forever. By the 2010s, cracks started to show. Traffic became the priority and sensationalism took over.
Yeah.
Why? Because ad revenue now relied on clicks. And when your business model depends on clicks, trust and quality often disappear. News, reviews, and entertainment were no longer the product. You and I became the product.
I think this is a problem with like all types of media, is that when you get paid by views, there's going to be a, like, every type of monetization has a dark side, or it has like a negative outcome as well. But I think that really, like, so when gaming journalism, and I'm sure he's going to say this, Gamergate killed gaming journalism. That's what it was. And if you look at the graphs of like all these websites, you'll see that that's exactly what happened. Is that they were still growing until
Pick
like
your hero.
Gamergate.
Or
That
villain.
was the
I'm
end.
not judging.
Open your eyes. Reality is
Majority
but an
of news
illusion.
outlets, not just gaming journalists, quickly learned that sensationalism equals profit. And where there's sensationalism, there is disconnect. It wasn't just clickbait though. There was also this new phenomenon of first come, first served. Instead of publishing a monthly magazine where journalists could spend more time refining and crafting something thought-provoking and entertaining, a never-ending rat race began. Companies now competed to get previews, reviews, and news out faster than the competition. Articles
There is
started
only
feeling rough,
one
and
source
reviews
This is something
Supreme.
that happened with YouTube as well. Like, how many of you guys remember, or you've played a game where
30
people
seconds
try to
before you
get
attack.
guides out for
Get
new
ready.
content as soon as possible, and they do it at the cost of the content
I've
itself.
always admired
So
your
like the
work,
guide
Mr.
will come
Stark.
out, but it'll be
Well, thanks,
really
kid.
shitty,
Good to know
or
my
it
tech
won't be
lasts the
complete
test of
because
time.
it won't be ready.
Actually,
but like the
you've made
title
some pretty
says that
serious
it's the full
advancements
complete
since
thing.
then.
Yeah, exactly
Yeah,
right.
you know what? How about we
And
focus
so
on the
that's a
mission
huge
instead of my
issue.
legacy? Thanks.
The PoE2 shit, yeah, the FX Troll, I think, yeah, people are really critical about them for that reason.
The battle starts in
becoming
5.
increasingly more
4,
disconnected from
3,
gamers. It was
2,
clear that it
1.
didn't feel like it was gamers'
All you need to do is
focus
capture the mission
Yeah.
area.
Now a lot of
Got
people
it?
have grown so
Wine, men are in trouble. I
The
wish
Sanctum
Resident Evil
Sanctorum
2
is
let
my
me be a more
refuge,
compassionate
my
hero.
fortress.
Yeah, I think that also, like, this was another big difference, is that when you looked at the old magazines, it was really people talking about the game quality, and you didn't really
Enemy in
have
front of
much
us.
people
I
who were,
attacked
like,
the foe.
celebration of
Hunt
the
them.
games and discussion of the game at, like, a
Get
factual
on
level.
your couch.
Then you start seeing another aspect
Looks like the mission area is
kinds
yours to
of
capture now.
things are generally more popular because it's easier to relate to them because there's a lower barrier to entry. So what ends up happening is that people start about like their personal opinions on things. Those videos get popular. Before you know it, that's all you see. So that's really writers. I think that there were writers for the whole magazine too. I just think that like what really
Capture the mission
Like
area!
you had people that used to be basically disseminating information, and then they started giving their viewpoints instead.
Tired of this. Just look at the recent reviews around Concord. Self-proclaimed critics gave this game a 7 out of 10 or even an 8 out of
Never
10.
thought I'd be
While
sad to see
literally
death.
the entire gaming community rejects this game.
Your devotion to name
Saying
will
these
seal your
reviews
fate.
felt out of touch is an understatement.
Yeah.
There is so
One couldn't win without the other. Good medicine.
They do it on purpose.
And this is like
They want to push an agenda. They want you to believe something. And this is the same with mainstream events. Think about
By
how
the
many
shades
known
of the
lies
Seraphim, I
mainstream media just
return.
reports regularly, and they never really try to correct them or fix them. That's what happens all the time. They all know, yeah, exactly. And so they're
Their
not
team's
trying
capture
to,
progress has passed the
like,
halfway
their
point.
message is more important than the truth. That's basically the way they look at it.
I think you are.
I don't think we're much.
Then there's the issue of access to journalism. Game publishers started controlling the narrative more aggressively,
By the shades of the
using
Seraphim,
embargoes
I
and restrictions
return.
to shape coverage. If
Catch-22 of video game journalism. What is this? What was the other article? Gaming the system, how games yeah, I'm not sure about that specifically. It depends on why. Yeah, I think that definitely happens. And that's one of the big weaknesses for anything. Concord got bad reviews. No, there were a lot of great reviews, actually.
Double KO!
if a journalist criticized a game,
What am I?
they risk
Invisible?
losing
More
early
powerful
access
yet.
or exclusives in the future.
That's one of the big weaknesses, and I think that that's actually what the crux of Gamergate was actually about. Is you have people that are effectively participants or beneficiaries of access journalism, and you do have some platforms and publications that don't take advantage
When
of this.
science failed
but
me,
back then
magic
especially, they
was
were very
there.
few and far between. So you had people, and this is still an issue now. Like, so I'll give you an example. I think that, like, think about the interaction and everything that I had with Elon Musk, today
30
on Twitter,
seconds before
right?
you
And
attack.
yesterday and
Get ready.
last week or so. Is that there is an implicit benefit
Aurora,
to
I
not
sense a
covering
strong
things
magical
of
lineage
people
within
that
you.
could give you
There
some
were
sort of
indeed
advantage in the
witches
future,
and mages
right?
among my
And so that's
ancestors,
what ends up
Stephen.
happening is that you have people that don't give feedback or they don't say certain things because it's more important for them to maintain a hegemony or
The
maintain
battle
a
starts in
relationship
5, 4,
than tell the truth.
3, 2,
And I think that sees
1.
it sees it constantly.
All you need to do is
No, it's
capture
a
the mission
62 on
area.
Metacritic. I get
Got
your
it?
point, but Concord got slaughtered by everyone. I think a
Master
62,
Leader
like,
is not
I-
going to
I've-
be thrilled with me for jumping around
I mean, a 62
realities.
for Concord. I feel like it was a point
I am strengthened for battle.
So I think that's a good
Shields up!
I cast you back to the depths.
And when you're in a state of conflict, losing that can be devastating for your family. So do you tell the truth and risk
The mission
backlash
area
from the
is
publishers,
yours to capture
or do
now.
you play it safe and lose the
Mission
control?
area
By the-
is yours.
Definitely not
Oh, they're so sparkly.
like there's definitely pressure from publishers. And,
I am ready to put on a show.
and I think also there's another really big issue is that your personal friends or publishers
Hold still. I'm trying to help.
I am strengthened.
By the-
more credibility because you know them personally. So you're seeing it
By the- And you call yourself... The
Connect has
doctor is
definitely
in.
brought a major shift
I'm
over the
opening
years.
a
As trust
portal.
in traditional
Control
outlets
lost.
faded, a lot of gamers turned to the reviews and opinions of
Pentagram.
creators like Angry Joe and the amazing Total Biscuit felt authentic. They didn't need publisher approval, and they weren't afraid to tell it. The game was broken, they figured it out. It was great, you can tell their praise is genuine.
Like this probably is like probably one of the greatest things I've ever
By the eye of Agamotto.
so good, man.
This raises a big question. Why why do companies
Hands are shaking
like
again.
IGN
Focus.
still have an audience?
Okay.
If you've watched my previous videos, you would know that I'm just a
I am
casual
ready to
gamer.
put on a
I don't
show.
always have time to sit down and actually play games, let alone dive into the drama around gaming journalism. So let's say I see a game advertised from a franchise I love as a kid or teenager. I would want to go where I've always gone for insight on these games. IGN, PC Gamer, or Gaming. And honestly, most casual gamers would probably stop their research right there. How do I know this? Because most of my friends, who are dads, financial advisors, tradesmen, and just generally
Pain
busy
is no
guys,
match
still
for the
read and trust
Sorcerer
IGN,
Supreme.
simply because they always have. Although the
Well,
funny
IGN, I will say, is probably the most favorable. Like, of all of the different publications, I think IGN is the least biased, but I do think that they're extremely biased as well. I think Black and Blue Box is an example.
Incoming!
But they are the best.
funny thing is, some of them have actually now stopped reading IGN because of what happened with Dragon Age and Veil God. I have a good friend who grew up in years later, a media research for Veil God.
Surely, sir.
Exciting.
The Sorcerer
You'll have to
Supreme.
keep fighting
IGN's
until we have a
reviews
winner.
and sees a 9 out of
Amazing.
10. Now bear in mind, he does not keep up
Wow.
with the politics behind any of this stuff because he is simply a very busy guy. Now,
Yeah, this is the thing too, is that he's right about this, is that you get the normies who get hoodwinked by this kind of stuff. Because like they're like this guy is, you know, like he's not watching, you know, like, oh, well, they're doing this
captured
game,
more than
like
half of
there's
the mission
a
area.
non-binary
Keep going.
character in the game. Not even thinking about it, right?
let's confirm this excitement. There are no warnings, no caveats, just another Dragon Age with a 9 out of 10 from IGN. Of course. So the game launches, and it's
By the eye of Agamotto! By the eye of Agamotto!
There's this idea that normies are more accepting of like binary stuff. I actually think that the people on the internet, like users,
Destroy these onks
are
where you
much
find
more
them.
progressive on
I'm
average
opening a
than the average
portal.
population. Like way, way, way more.
Oh, I'm
A
not binary.
shortcut
And
to space!
IGN gave it a higher
We'll
rating.
have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
A lot of these big outlets have obviously
The moon haunts you!
so where does that leave us? Because journalism will eventually disappear.
They are an endangered species right now. They're like the white rhinos. There's like 7 of them left. And so what's happening is that there's almost no game journalists that are left now. And if you think about the amount of people that are writing articles, it's less than people probably at this point. Like it's basically dead. Like it is. It's very, very close to being dead. Now, I thought about making my own website, but the problem is that it would probably require
The
me to
time
interact with other
entanglement is a
people.
vexing
And
problem.
so I was like, I don't know if I
Even
want to
for
do
the
this because I don't
Sorcerer
like talking and
Supreme.
dealing with people. But functionally, like if all I had to
Open
do was
your
set up a
eyes.
foundation for it
Reality is
and
but
like set
an
up like
illusion.
what I thought would
30
work,
seconds before
and
you
then
attack.
that's it.
Get
I'm done.
ready.
I would do that. Donkey called them out a while ago. Yeah, sure, right? But I think that's what's going to happen a lot.
I don't think it will, but I do believe gamers are finally holding these companies accountable. I do believe as gaming journalism has declined, we have definitely seen a rise in trusted YouTubers and indie creators who are doing something traditional outlets struggle with. They embrace the difficult conversations around gaming, and a lot of them do it well. Let's face it, games
All
aren't
you
a
need to do is
one-size
capture the
fits
mission
all.
area.
What I
Got
love
it?
about a game might be what you hate about it, and
Franklin
that's
and Val are
fine.
gonna be so
Independent
sad they
creators
missed
own
That's fundamentally what makes independent content creators on YouTube a better source. Not to mention the fact that watching a video for a video
Our
game
enemies
is
are
just
near.
a baseline.
I am strengthened
Like,
for battle.
theoretically, if Nintendo were to even like in Harry Potter, where like they would open up the newspaper and would actually play videos with the paper, if Nintendo power
The mission area is yours to capture now.
in the year 1995, they would.
Capture the
The
mission
only
area.
reason they couldn't do that So, in like a perfect world, it would have effectively been YouTube videos with text in between. Right? No technology. Yes, exactly. The way that video game websites, their criteria for what's valuable and what's important doesn't reflect what a player thinks is valuable or important. So, like, if this person thinks that it's really good that they had trans character in the game,
I have tagged a foe.
your average white American is going to either not care
I am
or
strengthened.
think it's bad. Because they don't think like that at all. Like, this is and their values no longer represent the majority of people inside of their audience.
Shields up!
When they rave about a game, it feels like a recommendation.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Behind you!
It's easier, like, IGN has a bunch of people like
Keep your eyes on this
so,
time.
like, you don't really have good medicine getting out of IGN because it's the top or any of the other they just have, like, there's some people that write that think this about a game, other people that write that think that about a game. But, like, with an individual like myself or, you know, any of, like, Scale Up or something like that, you're getting really the opinion of one consistent person. So, like, for example, like, the person who writes the review for Dragon Age Veilguard might also write a review and have totally different criteria than somebody else for the game for that audience.
Enemy in front of us.
You see kind of what I'm saying? And so, like, in telling the
Hoshi's gonna be
review,
very angry. Why, we stopped
The moon!
Engaging with their audience in ways traditional outlets just don't. That's why so many gamers are turning to independent content. So, what does the future of gaming journalism look like? The truth is, it's unclear, but one thing is for sure, the old model of sensationalism, clickbait headlines, and ignoring what the audience really cares about is fading fast. Gamers
By the eye of Agamotto!
but I think that the amount of people like, the problem is that
keep fighting until we have a winner.
choice of ideas, and people don't really find any importance or value in them.
Against the world!
By the eye of Agamotto!
connected to the people who as a gamer, I have to say the worst thing I've seen
Hot take, gamers are the problem with gaming.
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
is turn on the core audience and paint us as villains. Instead of Englists do,
Gamers are terrible people and you should stop being afraid of them.
okay. Turn
And
on
this
the core
website is called The Gamer. Again, this is like going to work at a steakhouse if you're a vegan. I can't imagine being this stupid.
audience and paint us as villains. Instead of engaging with the community, some
Not sure if my 15 letters means gamers are bad people.
journalists have chosen to throw accusations at gamers, stating we are the problem with the gaming industry. Gaming journalism won't disappear, but it will have to evolve. The outlets that survive will be the ones that understand and connect with their audience. It's not just about getting the first scoop anymore. It's about providing real, thoughtful coverage that respects the community and acknowledges the diverse opinions within it.
I think that, I mean, just to be totally honest, I think that you just can't, if you bring in identity politics to like video game stuff at this point, you're asking to lose. Yes, of course, there's always going to be people that are okay with it, but there has been such a massive backlash from it that if you bring up or talk about any identity politics, like I think that the Kingdom Come Deliverance controversy, and I'll talk about that
You'll
after
need a
this,
top-notch team
is
to
a
win
really
this
great
one.
example of just like how
Open your eyes. Reality is but an illusion.
like how sensitive people are to that now. Is that if people get even a hint of something that they would consider like woke, they totally lose their fucking minds.
To the point that when outlets like PC Gamer might actually produce thoughtful content that raises valid points, no one cares anymore. They automatically face backlash from the internet due to the reputation they've built over time. The recent article of Half-Life XL2 was a prime example of this. Readers see the headline and they immediately assume it's a bad article. But this is a completely self-induced problem. And this is the consequences.
30
The
seconds
rise of
before you
independent
attack.
creators
Get ready.
and YouTubers shows us what gaming journalism could become. More personal, more honest, and more fascinating. These creators
Well, it's also more direct, and it's a better medium too. Like you don't have a lot of people that are writing articles individually either. You have mainly people that are creating YouTube videos because it's a better medium. Asmon, you're the PC gamer
The
now.
battle starts
well,
in
I mean,
5,
yeah, in a lot of
4,
ways I am.
3, 2,
I think that's true.
1.
I didn't mention Gamergate, but I definitely should have. Yeah, I think that Gamergate was the point like that.
This is a cosmic mystery given true form.
Where everything
Help get that vehicle to its destination. This place and the Master Weaver.
But like, Gamergate, it kind of drew a line in the sand.
Enemy
between
tag.
The eye must rest.
the gaming industry and people that are into gaming.
Attack the
And
foe.
people who like the actual consumers. So like Gamergate is this thing where a lot of people
Science and magic combined.
like 11 years ago at this point.
Creatures have risen from the realm below.
There were a lot of reports and people discussing how certain outlets were behaving in unethical ways. Like, for example, people were
Science and magic. Good medicine.
like, I think the best example was that somebody was in a relationship with like this girl and then provided coverage to one of this girl's games, and in the process of that didn't disclose the fact that they were in a relationship with the person's game they reviewed. And so there were a lot of instances like that where you had obvious kind of ethical violations that happened, and basically what happened is that people got really angry about it, and the entire like,
pain is no match for the sorcerer
the
supreme.
reason why they're mad is because they hate women type thing. And I think that could work for some people. And what happened is that after that, if you look at the graph for like the way that these websites went, like after 2014, they went way down. Like that was the beginning of the end, and like now they've never been lower. Was it real hot? Was it justified? Well, it doesn't matter, right? That's not the point. And so that's what it's not the turning.
I am ready to put on a show.
Yeah, the turning point was no, really good point. It was not the fact that
It's party time!
and like it wasn't happening.
Good
And
medicine.
it was an insult. It was an insult to everybody's intelligence. Everybody was like, "This is bullshit." We can all tell this is bullshit, right? And I think also that's the when they started attacking gamers. That's whenever it was 2000. And that's where
Beholds the god of thunder!
or like identity politics in games, stuff like that. Because then they like also I think that's what happened. Like that's the way that a lot of people viewed it. Punish gamers. And I think that all that did was it just radicalized them more. Because at the end of the day,
Only 60 seconds left.
and for a long time, we were getting
Good medicine.
basically like this is what would
Vehicle
happen, right?
reached the
Is that
checkpoint.
pretty much
Keep up the
every person
momentum.
in journalism had the exact same people, and I think this is still the case. And if one person like off the, they've given off the
Tentacles than Gargantos himself.
path, they immediately were crucified. And you saw that recently after how much hate it was. It was and they had a bunch of other journalists that were getting mad at them because they were saying, "Oh no, we're not supposed to talk about that. We're not supposed to pretend that." why a game didn't do well.
Journey into
And it's
mystery.
like,
I'm ready to put on a show.
because they don't want to talk about it, because talking about it's Voldemort, right? It's like talking about it makes it real. And I think that's really what happened. You see kind of what I'm saying?
Look out, Spider! It's Monday time!
Yeah, that's basically
It's a new era, and the traditional
Erosion's a name or
demanding better and most importantly thank you everyone for watching, and a very special thank you to my Patreons. If you can look into my Patreon, do check the link in the description below. I'm really enjoying all of you. Also, a very big thank you to Sennheiser for these headphones. This isn't a sponsorship, but a few weeks ago I reached out to them and offered them a sponsorship to take them to me. Really, really like them. You can check a link in the description. If you would like to join me live, week from now, so feel free to comment there and say.
Only 60 seconds left. And this is why I
there it
chose
is. I think
reading
that was a
more.
great video. Citizen journalism is far more popular and powerful. Yeah, I think that's definitely true. And like, you have a lot of the, so like, this is what's happening with other people. Is a lot smaller now.
There's medicine.
You don't need a massive
Science and
editorial
magic
board.
combined.
And so a person
your
with a
balance,
message
you
can
two.
directly
Stay
get
in
that
control.
message to the public, right? And like that's why, like, you know, for example, on Twitter, you know, Elon Musk is always talking about citizen journalism. I think that's actually what people do. They want way more citizen journalism because they don't trust any of these.
At least those first
I think
points
a
are
lot
done
of
for.
people, like even conservatives, they might watch Fox, but I don't think they really trust Fox that much more than they trust like CNN. They just think Fox is the best worst thing, basically, right? And so people still have an it's just that that's the best that they can have. And so that's where KW to trust Fox. Oh, I'm sure some of them do, right? I mean, I'm talking about averages and just in general. And so, yeah, the lesser evil, exactly. So,
By the eye of Agamotto!
I am ready to put on a show.
go against the audience for stuff like this too, after they get big.
It's Monday time!
Science and magic combined.
But it won't work because I just think that the ability for people to communicate and talk about things publicly is so
Science
big.
and magic combined.
Like, that's it. And people are going to have to figure out stuff now, and you either adapt to those opinions or you die. The market decides, yeah, the market decides. And also, here's another thing. The market isn't always fair. And this is a huge thing that, like, I think a lot of people are having trouble with. Is like, they're like, oh,
I am
this is
strength
this is
for
like
battle.
they shouldn't be able to just say,
Creatures have risen from the realm below.
you know, this
Must the final 10 seconds.
so you have a lot of people who get and I think that's how
Keep fighting until we have a winner.
realize that they can do it and they're actually like they did with Nailguard and everything. Now you're seeing massive K-Pops on games.
Despite a
But that's not going to make them go away.
I'm the one below
And
all.
also, like, here's the other thing.
Good medicine.
Every time that they win, it emboldens them to do it again.
The current score is
Because
3,
they keep winning
2,
and they see the
0.
outcome and they're thinking to themselves,
Time to switch
we're
things up,
doing it, we're making it
including
happen,
which
then there
side
it is.
you're on.
Who killed masculinity in video games? I'll
The
tell
right
you who
heroes
killed it.
could make all the difference.
Open
Blizzard.
your eyes. Reality is
Oh
but an
my
illusion.
Does anybody else feel like masculinity has slowly been drained from modern video games?
Yeah,
I was
I do.
looking
I
at
think so.
recent staff photos of Ubisoft and Halo Infinite developers, and it's all starting to make sense. It's a bunch of fat white liberal women. And white liberal women have no interest in masculine male characters. They wouldn't even know how to write one if they tried. This is why Rockstar, a company founded by men, that at least in 2018 was still mostly run by men.
I have a good counterpoint to this, is that Shadowbringers was written by a woman.
My turn.
So I actually don't think that it's entirely because of, it's not entirely because of women. I think it's like a cultural thing. Yeah, from soccer as well. Yeah.
Oh,
It's an exception. It is an exception. I think so. And it makes sense, right? That men would be able to write better stories for other men. Yeah. Wow. What? Who could have thought?
And
The battle
created the
starts in
magnum
5,
opus Red Dead
4,
Redemption 2,
3,
a game with a manly, well-written main protagonist, Arthur Morgan. If you want to see the seismic shift away from masculine characters, honestly, all you need to do is play a few games from 2006, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Consider how many masculine military games came out in the 2000s.
Absolutely.
Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, Brothers in Arms, Gears of War, Operation Black King, Rainbow
This
Six.
is what it was all about, bro. Like, we had, like, I feel like a lot of y'all probably played at least 2 or 3 of these, right? Yeah, it was just, it's an amazing experience, absolutely.
Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell. All of these games had strong men and had themes of brotherhood, sacrifice, honor.
So the reason why Tyrion Ordring left the Silver Hand and was in exile is because whenever he was in captivity, he made a pact with an orc named Etrig. And whenever Etrig was captured during the burning of Strathlon, Tyrion helped him escape, and they escaped together. Because his bond and his loyalty to a man who had helped him escape and be free, I guess, was more important than any sort of organization at all. The honor of it was more important than the organization. Tyrion chose that over Brothers in Arms. Yeah, exactly. So propaganda for war. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way Blizzard used to be.
Almost all of these franchises have either been killed off, turned into multiplayer games, or went rogue. I often wonder why so few modern games appeal to me. And I think another big reason is this. Everything is just so gay now. Compare the games just mentioned to the modern trash we have to deal with in Overwatch and Apex. Almost every character is gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, or something else.
I think this is an issue, but it's not probably as big as an issue. What is an issue is the fact that they try to like ride off of it.
I am ready to put on a
For
show.
example, like with Concord or like with Overwatch, I think that's the issue. Is that in a lot of times they had characters that were gay or they had some sort of other type of orientation, but they didn't use those characters as a mascot to virtue signal that they care about these types of issues. I think this is actually not with any character's orientation. I don't think anybody really cares about this character because he's gonna be talking about this, and I guarantee you, you're not gonna be seeing a slide of Dion from Final Fantasy 16. You're not gonna see that. No, you know why? It's because the character wasn't created in a cynical, performative way. And also, like, this is another big issue, and I think you can see this with Suicide Squad, is that they completely caricature people that are LGBT. It's not like this character is LGBT, and this is like an afterlife. It's like, yeah, by the way, you can't that fine, doesn't really have anything to do with it. Yeah, sure. But, like, the issue is that they try to use these characters as mascots to promote their own virtue. And I think that a lot of people can perceive that. I know that I perceive that. And I find it to be incredibly obnoxious. So obnoxious. I didn't even know that? Yeah, because nobody cares. Nobody actually cares.
Down to 30 seconds.
Like, what happened to a masculine dude with a hot chick on his arm? I love the idea of mascots being passed, but I swear every time I open it up and look for new games, there's just so many games that look gay. I refuse to play another cutesy 2D platformer or a game with a cutesy art style by some indie developer.
By the eye.
Bro, this guy is fucking good. Oh man, right? Yeah, that's great. like to me, it's like I just think that there's probably like there is not enough games that are like Doom that are out there. Like games that are just like by guys for guys about blowing shit up and like killing things. That's absolutely true. And it's like you can have the cozy games too.
The moon haunts you.
You know, like the Helldivers, yeah, Helldivers. Think about, look at how much that popped off. People love it.
If you want
Here's the war,
100% real thoughts on this, I just think the entire video game industry has gone woke and gay, and almost nothing they are making appeals to me in any way anymore. So this is why I mostly play.
The best part about this is he clearly cut the audio because he was clearly going on a rant about this, and it's like, okay, cut, let's just keep going. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily about it being gay. I think it's about the performative nature of it. Because if you go back, you'll probably see a lot of instances where like diversity or, you know, a strong female character like Cortana is a great example. Like Cortana, nobody ever thought about Cortana as like, oh yeah, we have to have a woman in like the story for Halo. People just liked Cortana because she was part of the story. So the Tomb Raider, stuff like that, right? And so it's the issue that, and I think this is a big problem with Western developers, because you can see this, like Eastern developers never have this criticism. It's always Western developers. And I think that also, like, the reason why it happens is because people perceive the way that they behave as inauthentic. And I'll give you an example of a difference in like a Western development game. Baldur's Gate 3. You can change, you can have a dick, you cannot have a dick. You can have whatever you want and look however you want. You can have sex with any character and nobody ever cares about it because the game is seen as an authentic work of art. Whereas when you look at the Assassin's Creed game, it does not seem like it's authentic. It seems like it's performative. It seems like it's made with the intention of like, look at us. We are this like, you know, forward-thinking group of people. That's what the issue is, right? And you pick the experience. Yeah, you pick the experience. Like Cyberpunk too. Yeah, Cyberpunk, and it totally makes sense. You're arguing semantics. It's 100% right. Well, what I'm saying, I'm not. It's not semantics, because I don't think that people have a problem with the actual characters. I think they have a problem with the way these studios portray the characters, because they do it in a caricatured way that's disrespectful and it's self-aggrandizing. That's the reason why people don't like it. Nobody said Sergeant Johnson in Halo was DEI, okay? Nobody fucking said that. And by the way, this isn't current cultural brain rot. If you go look at the Space Marine 2 trailer, you see a black guy, an Asian guy, and a white guy. They're all Space Marines. And they're like, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna kill him? Yeah, let's kill him. If you read the comments down below, there's nobody saying, oh yeah, great, more DEI. Nobody actually thinks this. It's about the way that it's presented.
Got it?
That's the problem. The problem is they're stereotyping. Yeah, like adding in Mrs. Freeze, and she just looks like your traditional like butch lesbian. How disrespectful! It's insane to me.
Good medicine.
Awful.
More tentacles than Gargantos himself.
So this is why I mostly play 20-year-old games on my channel, because they were just better. I was recently reading an insider interview about what went down at Coalition Studios with the disastrous Saints Row.
The eye of Agamotto foresaw.
This source said that the LGBTQ community
is like, this dude, you know who this dude goes? He goes, you know what game he plays? Doom. He's gonna go and play fucking Halo. Nobody wants to look like him. Like with the bow tie and everything, like Bill Nye the Science Guy. This is not like, a guy is not gonna see this and be like, oh, that's me. Absolutely not. Now, are there some people that do? Yeah, for sure. But not really. Get the shit out of here. Yeah, bro, like it's like a... It's like, it feels like it's so safe, right?
Within the company was actually pretty small, but they are the loudest and the most annoying, and the company leadership chose to promote these people into key roles. And that's why people dumpster fire I think that you have a lot of these game studios is about LGBTQ folks.
I think this is changing a lot on social media. So like for a while this was true, and I think that like when Elon bought social media, the ability to create a narrative like this definitely went away. Or it didn't necessarily go away, but it was like dramatically nerfed.
For battle.
Because what would exactly. What ended up happening is that being accused of being the wrong thing, like, oh, you're sexist, oh, you just hate, you know, whatever. Like, the effectiveness of that has gone down because there have been so many false accusations. Exactly. That's what it is. It's still bad at work, though. I think that this probably is people don't want to.
By the shades of the
like nobody
Seraphim,
wants
I
to be the
return.
guy that's pushing against having a character in a game that's like gay or like LGBT or like changing a character to female or something like that. Nobody wants to be the person that's against that because that's probably going to make them look bad.
We gotta focus on this.
It's yeah, of course. And like you just think about it logically. You think about how many eggshells people need to step on, need to avoid stepping on, whatever it is. Whenever they're talking about like any sort of like social issue at all. That's an HR complaint? Yeah, exactly. Right? So like at work it's probably a
Urgent treatment. One couldn't win without the other.
It's about working and everything just ends up being safe and soft and sensitive because, oh, you can't hurt anybody's feelings. So of course you get these shitty dumpster fire video games that nobody wants to play. After reading a lot of inside the reviews of developers, this is my sense of what I also feel like there's this kind of unholy alliance right now between games journalists, white liberal women at game studios, and the LGBTQ community at game studios. And they all
by the eye of Agamotto!
I do think that there definitely is like a certain sense of like what's the word is for it? Like shared goals that the games journalists sometimes feel like they're running PR for game studios. And I think this is a huge issue, and it's one of the reasons why people don't trust games journalists anymore. This guy just said, bro, he just said it.
They actually do.
By the way, I think for a lot of Western videos, I think that game developers do have genuine resentment for the average run-of-the-mill gamer guy.
Judge! Jury! Executioner!
In the West? Yeah. I think so.
And who are gamers? Overwhelmingly? Well, heterosexual dudes like us, of course.
Yes. This, you know what this is right here? This is a Call of Duty squad. Leading up to the first time. That's what it is, right there.
Tandy needs help.
This recent Reddit thread was written by an actual game developer and made me realize this. It reads,
I'm allowed to say this. I kind of hate games. I'm a professional game designer, and I'm worried that I'm starting to hate games. Shadow is extremely disheartening. Every time a character that wasn't this pet white man appeared on screen,
armed and dangerous!
Complaining about it.
And the problem is that he's kind of right, but he doesn't understand why it's like this. He views it as in like the people that are responding this way are they're wrong, but you never think to yourself, why are they wrong? Why do they wrong? Because like that's the
by the eye of Agamotto!
This guy doesn't give a fuck. But like you're not gonna hear a lot of other people, and this is the reason why
by the eye of Agamotto!
For sure. But other people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to challenge this kind of stuff because they don't want to get in trouble. It's a lot now. People are suspicious now, absolutely. But if you look at the actual opinions of people in comment sections and the amount of people that are able to have free conversations about this, it's very obvious that this is an extremely prevalent opinion. My customers are wrong. I know. And that's the thing, is that these people try to... You will never have a successful product that exists in opposition of your audience.
of the Seraphim.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
I'm opening a
But I think it's pretty obvious that people think this one. Because gamers are just immature edgelords. Well, then
The
stop
current
making
score
games.
is 1.
Stop
2,
trying to insert yourself
0.
into a place that people don't want you.
Time to
If all
switch things
gamers
up,
are just immature
including which
edgelords, then why are
side
you
you're
trying
on.
to make content for them? Just stop
Open
doing it.
your eyes. Reality is but an illusion.
The right heroes can
Every
make
game
all
that
the
wasn't a
difference.
shooter or a hyper-casual competitive online game garnered zzz and boring comments. I've seen
You want to know why they garnered zzz and boring comments? Because they were boring. So here, let me give you guys, this is something that you might not know. There is a word that's used, it's cozy. When you hear cozy, I want you to switch that in your mind, boring.
We'll be coming
Cozy
in 30
game,
seconds.
boring
Stay
game.
strong.
people implying that the MC in Fable trailers is ugly
Yeah.
because it's a
She
self
is.
insert of some random level designer
On
working at
occasion,
Playground whom they deem
but to
not
serve as
fuckable.
one's avatar
Yeah,
must
exactly.
be exhausting.
Yeah, people don't want to look like look at an ugly chick. Yeah, they want to have a hot character.
Perhaps a divine
The battle starts in 5,
once
4,
our cure is done.
3, 2, 1.
Where do these people come from?
You have to
Where
stop
do
them
these
from
people come
securing
from?
the mission area.
It's so I know it's so dumb, bro. Like,
seems to be enjoying
God.
the end of all that is. A
I
bit
don't
too
know,
much.
just the internet magnifying negative voices, I guess, doing what it does best. But it's making me real tired of gaming.
So at this point, you're a gamer journalists and all of the liberal LGBT mafia that work at game studios
More
actually
tentacles than
hate
Gargantuar
their
himself.
audience. And this is a comment I keep reading from these guys again and again. I swear they literally hate us. They seem to be dead set on giving their audience exactly what consumers want. How long is your business going to be open if you're dead set on not giving the customer what they want?
well, in the past year or so, I think that we know exactly the date of what that is. Yeah, great question. I think that we know exactly how long it's going to last. They want to change the customer. And this is the thing, right, is that these are people, like, in a lot of cases, like, a lot of these game developers, I mean, these are just random people, right? I mean, some of them are
The
weirdos,
mystic
some of
arts
them are
won't
not.
fail me again.
But these are people, in a lot of cases, like, you don't want to be, like, talked down to by a person like this. Absolutely not. You're like a 28-year-old software engineer. I don't want you to be telling me what my politics should be. Stop it. Get the fuck out of here.
You
Yes.
need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
This is why when skanks like Alyssa Martinez are crying about copyright doing their job, game studios are going under because they were associated with Sweet Baby Inc. I
The moon haunts you.
There we go. Oh man, there it is. Yep. The main base of operation.
Double kill.
Shades of the
think I just
Seraphim.
laughed.
I'm opening
Let
a
them
portal.
burn. Let all these companies burn
Yeah.
who don't know how to give the audience. The wonderful
shortcut
irony in all this is that it's the very games that the
Our
local
enemies are
console
near.
models try to cancel that seem to be the best. Remember Hogwarts Legacy? Yeah.
Against the world.
Really tried to get it canceled. Instead, they sold 25 million copies. Remember Elden Ring? Remember how the woke mob tried to problematic on having quote problematic women? Oops, sold 25 million copies.
Here's another thing about Elden Ring.
Oh, they shit shaken
Is that I understand that King America is not necessarily
Double
trans,
kill. Better stop that vehicle.
but for a fantasy story, it's pretty goddamn fucking close, isn't it?
Executioner!
It's really fucking close to that.
is real firepower!
This is like the main character that the
Final
entire
score.
story is
1,
built around.
2, 2.
Everybody loves the lore. Nobody's complaining about this. Nobody actually cares.
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
Yes, exactly. Mikola Is it female alter ego? Yes. This isn't something that people really give a shit about. Elden Ring is a great example. Consort, yes. So, promised consort Radahn. What does that mean? Oh, jeez. Oh, fuck. What the... Oh, my God. Think about it.
At this point, making an offensive game seems to guarantee that game's success. We could talk about Stellar Blade, pissing off all of the liberal progressives, and yet everybody went out and bought it. Okay, so in the rest of this video, I want to give you 4 examples of a game or game series going from masculine to feminine or gay, and it basically either killed or ruined the franchise. Number 1, Ubisoft and Red Storm Entertainment. So Red Storm Entertainment was a video game company founded by the legendary Tom Clancy to make Tom Clancy video games. He sold the company to Ubisoft in the year 2000, and Ubisoft in the 2000s actually had some balls and made some of the manliest games you've ever seen. There were the Splinter Cell games, the Ghost Recon games, the Rainbow Six games, and the Far Cry games.
Yeah.
All of these games pretty much feature exclusively men, and these IPs in the 2000s had so much testosterone, just a single glance from a woman in their direction would get her pregnant. I mean, motherfucking Sam Fisher.
The games were way more masculine back then. This is absolutely true. Yeah, they were guy games made for guys. Absolutely. It's not even a question.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Come on. The dude is the ultimate Giga Chad. Scott Mitchell in Ghost Recon. Now you pick your own character in Far Cry 2, but it's definitely a manly game that will put hair on your chest. So what is Red Storm Entertainment up to today? Well, I recently saw that Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland is being led by a man who dresses in women's clothes in his free time. Now look, I don't give a shit if you want to identify as a dragon and go around laying magic eggs, but can we agree that the least masculine thing on earth you can do is dress in women's clothes? Tom Clancy would be...
You have no idea.
I don't care. Like, what you want to do with your personal life is up to you.
30 seconds before you attack.
I don't give a fuck.
Get ready.
Just don't put your worldview into a game in a way that's not represented.
Lucky. Always feels good
going
into a fight with you. Keep your cool,
yeah, he does. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Like, there's plenty of people that are probably weird that make plenty of great games. Yeah, that's the way I see it. Absolutely. The issue is they do. Well, then that's the problem.
Pulling over in his grave right now if he knew the absolute disaster that Red Storm Entertainment had become. Number 2, Wolfenstein. So I was recently playing Wolfenstein The New Order for the first time, which came out in 2014. And I have to say, of all the games I was sure were going to avoid woke Western progressivism, this game was pretty high up there. The first 3 entries of the reboot were all fantastic. They had the badass BJ Blazkowicz, an absolute unit as the main character, ripping apart the entire army's Nazis with sexy and smart Anya as his arm cannon in white.
I only played like one of these. It was like the first or second one.
Which came out in 2015, 2015, and 2017 are all great. They have normal men and women doing normal shit. Awesome.
Okay.
But of course, the woke mob has to get involved somehow. So you have a beloved series with a beloved tough male manly character. Do you suppose it's a good idea to kill off that guy and replace him with cringy girl boss? Wolfenstein Youngblood came out in 2018. Some absolute clean death so bad. So many modern video games I find myself asking, who is this?
This shit drives me. I'm sorry, but like, I've really got to say, like, that was so bad, yeah. This game was so shit, yeah, I think this does matter a lot. By the way, it does. Like, not even the girls wanted this? Yeah, this is the thing. It's like, guys don't want to play, like, this is... fucking war game. Like, unless it's something like Stellar Blade. Like, if you're making a game for an audience of guys... You gotta make it appeal to that audience. Like, you can't make a game that, like, you go and kill zombies and, like, Nazis and shit, and then just change everything and make it appeal to women. That's not the way it works. I'm sorry, it does not work. Feels cute,
I often ask the same thing of the new Star Wars shows by Kathleen Kennedy as well. The Wolfenstein reboot had the perfect synergy of story and gameplay. You are VJ Blazkowicz, unleashing his rage on the Nazis for killing everyone you love. You see this come across in brutal assassination, sticking a rusty pipe through the eye socket of SS walking. But the setup in Wolfenstein Youngblood is incredibly cringe.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Honestly, nothing like it.
By the eye of Agamotto! Journey into mystery. Getting right. Wow, even better than me.
The first time you saw somebody, they don't
Who asked for
The
this,
Sorcerer
man?
Supreme returns.
It's crazy. Who the fuck wants this?
I think I slightly disagree. I think you should still make it appeal to men, but I think having a female lead could still work. But why would you?
Only 60 seconds left.
But why? Like, it does matter. Like, I'm sorry, guys, it matters.
And when they finally kill the guys and have lattes and talk about it afterwards, Youngblood is a perfect example of how a cutscene can go so long. BJ's setup is perfect and explains to you why he's doing it. BJ's daughters, however, are acting like they're in an episode of The Bang Theory. Oh, yeah, this has to be killing Nazis. Haha, isn't this so funny?
I also think that there's a very big problem, and I have a shared responsibility in this problem, is that people that are millennials, that are my age, my people, are some of the most unserious, inauthentic, painfully lame, and boring groups of people that I have ever seen. It's so fucking surface level cringe. Your powers are mine! Everything is sarcastic, nothing is authentic, nothing is genuine. There are always these like moments of brevity, like, oh, ha ha ha. It's nothing serious at all. It's just cringe. It's cringe and it's embarrassing. Shooters don't even like them. They don't even like themselves. Yeah, that's why they're on fucking antidepressants. They're fucking crazy. They've got 6 different mental disorders in their profile picture. Yeah, they don't even like themselves. Nobody else likes them.
Behold the God of Thunder!
One person who definitely didn't like them. Watch these fucking games and you'll know it's probably their fucking dad. Holy shit.
Behold the God of Thunder! By the shades of the Seraphim, I return.
It's not the worst generation, it's the cringe generation.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Yep.
Absolutely. So yep. Short, and they got to them. Example number 3, Gears of War. For a full explanation
of medicine. Leave me, darkness.
Your powers are mine!
Against the world!
The coolest thing is again was like, you know, like,
Only 60
yeah,
seconds
bro,
left.
like, you
By
go in
the
the
eye of Agamotto!
right? It's like, yeah, that's what it's all guys. Like, I remember back growing up, like, I didn't know a single girl that liked fucking Gears of War. Not a single one.
of how the woke mob girl boss Gears of War. See my video on that game, but I'll keep this short. The first 3 Gears games are an incredible trilogy focusing on the bonds and brotherhood between men. They're incredibly masculine games, focusing on duty and sacrifice and military orders. And I know some of you hate this, but for 10,000 years, it's only been men fighting wars. Sorry.
It pretty much still is. Let's be honest.
Ready to get your
The first 3
yarn on?
games focus on Marcus, Dom, Cole, and Baird and tell a masculine story of brotherhood. Well, the progressive woke mob somehow got to Gears of War, and Gears 4 and 5 are about sisterhood, motherhood, being a traitor, and what it feels like to be a man.
So, like, that's the story that, like, I don't really give a shit about
Symbol of conflict.
because I can't really relate to that, and I don't really care. Like, I want to play as, like, Marcus or Dom or Colt Train and kill these
By the eye of Agamotto!
That's it.
Behold the God of Thunder!
Yeah, and it does matter, by the way. It absolutely does matter. Let the market decide. The Firebase is 99% mana. To be fair, the brother thing was firing. Really? Oh, wow.
Your powers are mine!
What's the game? Is it the Fast and Furious? How many of them are there? 100. Let's say that's the size at the end of the day, if you're a guy, it's going to be easier for you to relate to a guy. You're going to understand the guy's struggles more. You're going to be able to, you know, like just identify with them much more. That's just the way it is. Family. Yeah, exactly.
Time to switch things up.
The topic of brotherhood of men fighting together goes back a millennia. Yeah, bro, like these people, they think like, yeah, we made 3 video games. So like, you know that story of like the Odyssey and like all those, yeah, bro, it was played out. No, it wasn't. It's never gonna be played out. Keep doing it. Only a millennia. Yeah, it's been like this forever.
Introduced the character of Kate Diaz, who I don't think anybody gives
never played this game.
fuck about. What they should have done is put Kate in a spin-off game, not a mainline Gears issue. But here's the problem, of course.
No one would play it.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Gears 4 and 5 are basically girl boss, feminist Gears of War.
The last one I played was 3.
Any masculine story about men is put on the back.
I barely even played 3. I played.
Of course, the games include Baird and Marcus in them, but they're really on the back burner. And Gears is now about Kate Diaz, who I've never talked to a Gears fan even cares about. Yeah. Moving on, example number 4, the Saints Row
please.
reboot.
Oh no.
Saints Row spent 10 years building up characters.
It's like, I'm sorry, but if you have a guy right here that's looking like Constantine, or like this guy who
the battle starts in 5,
he's sitting in a fucking like 3, a king chair, like he's Scarface,
1.
with sunglasses on, you know, saluting in a fucking suit. You want to know who looks at a cover of a game like this and buys it? I'll tell you who. A 15-year-old guy. They see this right here. They see that right there. A 15-year-old guy. And by the way, 35-year-old guys, in a lot of cases, are still 15-year-old guys. They see, oh, badass, yeah, for sure. So I can tell the difference.
Building up a very distinctive and edgy male sense of humor. The kind of stuff you and the guys would laugh at. Some of the recurring characters in Saints Row are Johnny Gat, Julius, Aisha, Condi, and several others. In these games, the men are men and the women are women. Johnny is edgy and hilarious and always has a hot chick. The humor is crude and hilarious, and the Saints are always getting into trouble. So what was wrong with the reboot? Well, the woke 2022 reboot thought it was a good idea to kill off every single character from the old Saints Row games.
See, this is the problem that I think a lot of these people have, is that they write stories to... They write stories like they have something to prove. They write stories like they have to, like, put it out there that they're not the same as something else. Like, it's like an ego thing for them. Like The Witcher, right? Like any of these other series where, like, they try to... It's like...
Oh, I'm fine, don't mind me.
I'm trying to think of a good way to put this that works.
By the shades.
They hit a checkpoint.
Like what they do with Lord of the Rings? Yeah.
To stop them.
So like anti-art?
Stop that vehicle!
that's a good way to say anti-art, yeah.
Tremble before blast!
Enjoy the
It's like they're written by people who wish that everything that their parents told them growing up wasn't
overwhelming.
The moon! Maximum pulse! Past 14 years old.
Your god is suffering.
Leave them to come.
Maximum pulse! Yeah, exactly. Like they're writing it and they're telling the story in a way to... It's not about telling a good story, it's about validating themselves.
They've made it halfway! Stop them!
I think that's probably a good way to say it, is that it feels like they're telling the stories for themselves rather than for the audience. Whereas I think in a lot of cases, the stories are told for themselves as well, right? Whether it's Lord of the Rings or anything else. It was for the author, but that wasn't
There's still a chance to stop them!
the problem is
Your powers are mine!
they did. They tried to make Concord.
Behold the god of thunder!
guess they thought we would be cool with that.
Yeah.
But don't worry, all of the other characters have something to have been replaced with tokenistic characters from a literal seminar on diversity.
The Sorcerer
And
Supreme
that's the
returns.
problem right there. It's that it's all caricatures. And that's what I find to be so disrespectful about it, is that the characters have to exist in some sort of oppositional existence of existing type of like gender or like racial stereotypes. It's insulting, yeah.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Again, like I think a lot of the people who do this are the people that, you know, if like they're you know like driving in like a middle class area of town, they lock their doors, right? It's just,
Tremble before power!
it's so performative that it's just.
That's 3.
I think it's gross. Honestly, it's very gross. Such a weird time. It really is. It's a very
Maximum pulse!
Final
You've got
score.
the gay Asian
1,
man,
2,
the
2.
girl boss lesbian, another girl boss lesbian, and the gay black guy. The LGBTQ mafia is still
And this is like the thing, right? Is that not all gay guys dress and act like it. There's plenty of gay guys that do and plenty that don't. It's not like you can look and inspect somebody and look at them and be like, gay, I know he's gay. That's not how it works. It's a stereotype. Jesus, a gaydar. Yeah, there you go. Yes, I can. For sure, man.
intro, they crucified it on a rainbow flag. And this is what you get, guys.
Yeah.
This is what the fuckers get for supporting these people. They turn out shitty games that aren't funny, that aren't cool, that aren't masculine.
That's another big thing. They're not cool and they're not funny. Minus the masculinity. That's something different. They're not cool. That's actually, you know what? The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking that's the biggest problem. They're not cool. These are people that were losers in high school. They didn't have any fucking friends. And now they go and they write stories about people that are friends, but they don't have any frame of reference for what being friends with somebody is like. So you get shit like this. They're not cool. They're fucking losers. Boring, antisocial, obnoxious stereotypes. Yeah. Case solved? Yeah, bro, they're not cool.
So stop hiring these people. Game developers need to stop putting gay stuff in games, and they need to fire every liberal white woman if they want us to ever buy a game again. Because I'm serious, we are done with this shit. We're not buying these games. Like, Phil Spencer is out here complaining about how people aren't spending as much money on games anymore. Yeah. I guarantee, if you give us hetero dudes,
open your
hot chicks in
eyes.
games
Reality
again, and mainly
is
men,
but an
you will
illusion.
see sales go through the roof. Bring back the glory days of video games.
I will bring
I have
peace
this
to
theory
this
that
universe,
in a few years
no
we're going
matter
to
the
see a
cost.
turn back to the golden era of video games.
We absolutely will,
I am
by the
no
way.
golden god.
If you actually
simply
think
a
that any
man
of
who
the
wishes to
executives
use
that work
his
at these
power
companies
for good.
genuinely care about any sort of group of people other than money, you are very sorely.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
It's already starting to happen. Yeah, it's already starting to happen.
The worst part
We're
about
gonna start
it
passing.
I recently saw this crazy chart from 2023 that basically showed that people are only playing old games these days. Nobody wants to play anything that's new out right now because it's all woke and it all sucks so bad. So anyway, guys, let's all hope that there's a return of masculine characters in games again at some point that we can relate to. All right, I'm out.
All you need to do is capture the mission area.
He's right about that.
Got it?
And I've gotten in a lot of trouble over the years of saying that gender is like a huge barrier of relatability that is not overcomable by any sort of real like storytelling. Like you're not really going to be able to relate to a girl in the same way that you can relate to a guy because your gender and the way that you grew up as a man or a woman completely changes your entire experience of life. And I think that if you try to ignore that, and that's why, for example, like a lot of streamers on Twitch, very popular streamers are female. But like on YouTube, there are a lot of popular streamers that are streaming and content creators. And do you know why? It's because YouTube has a actual like large female audience and Twitch doesn't. You want to know who's most people at Twitch are? Guys. They're mostly guys. And who do guys relate to? They relate to other guys. And you know who the kind of guys they relate to are? The kind of guys that look and act like they do. That's right. And so guess what? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's literally that simple. Well, I don't know. I think Arcane's the best example of how woke is not an end-all and be-all. No, it's not. And I think it also goes back to what I said about Gion and other characters like that, right? Is that there's the video right there. You can see, like, it's actually crazy. This guy, bro, this guy just said it. Like, every single thing that you're not supposed to say, he used that as a checklist.
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
He just said it exactly. Yeah, bro, he came out swinging. Yeah, this guy's got 1.6 million views. He only has 55,000 subscribers. So that means this video went absolutely fucking crazy in the algorithm.
Even better than my
Yeah, bro just called the industry
quantum magic. By the eye of Agamotto!
This is real firepower!
Yeah, exactly. Dion was an actual good gay character.
I am ready to put on a
It's not about being
show.
a good gay character. It's about being a good character. And then being gay is like secondary to that. Because like that's not the point, right? It's not the point. Oh yeah, but it's gay. Yeah, okay. Nobody gives a shit. That's not the reason why people care about it. You know, let's say that's all soy now. Yeah, exactly.
Judge! Jury! Executioner!
People have an opinion or care about it at all.
I feel better already.
That's what I think a lot of people don't understand. True, nobody cares. People only care when it's done inauthentically by losers, millennials that are boring, insincere, have no sense of creativity, and they can't write a good story for shit, and their parents were right, and you can't write a story about how your parents were wrong and have anybody else care about it except you. I'll be right back.
Squids, you're halfway there. Keep going.
This has been a massive video. We're gonna watch it.
Quantum magic. Show's done.
Completely ignored any criticism, whether that's from the industry itself, from critics, or fans, to get the reason. And in the case of Ubisoft, this is a victory for consumers. The Cosmos heals what we want to see, because if they're not working for us, they're working against us, and that's what they continue to do. So, when you're a company that's as recognized as Ubisoft, one of the most recognizable names in the cornerstone of AAA, you're going to have some
This is real firepower!
if we are in this together.
I don't know if they can lose power because the problem is that the company's reputation is gone. And if you compare this to, let's say, like Blizzard's
Vehicle
reputation
reached a
is
checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
that is like it's so harmful. I don't think people respect
Watch me
value.
I am ready to put on a show.
Because if you don't have that reputation and it ends up like, you know, getting away from you and you lose the narrative, you are in a very, very bad situation. Quantum match. It was 4 years to recover the reputation. No, I think it's 10 years. I think you need to have like at least 5 and usually 10 years to rebuild your reputation. Like think about companies that have done
Judge! Jury!
years and
Executioner!
Competitive games, lack in player interest, controversy, not all investors are calling for leadership to be ousted and the company to be sold. How do you get yourself to that point? That's what I want to know. There's a lot of other companies trying to ruin, and I want this to be a lesson to all.
I think this
I
is
am
I think it's
born
also
anew.
right that a lot of companies are trying to do what Ubisoft does because they just want to make more and more products to make more and more money. That's the reason. It's that simple. And you're seeing a lot of Western companies do this primarily.
Healing power. So let's talk about the rise and fall of Ubisoft. As recording this video, Ubisoft stock is in a low next to over a decade. The Cosmos heals.
I'll be shipshape in no time.
Like,
Let me see if I can find it. No, it's not on here anymore. Yeah, it's like this was from like a week ago or a few days ago. So like now it's even worse than it was in this video.
Almost 84% over the past 2 years, and recently
I need healing.
Outlaws
This is real firepower!
I am ready to put on a show.
Well, think about how many games this listed on. Like that was like 7 games or something like that. Of course there are.
I am
The company releases 6 games over the
There's
course
still
of a couple
so much
years.
to do.
That's usually the sign of success,
yeah.
but in the case of Ubisoft, each release seems to be taking them one step closer towards the brink of collapse.
I don't think that's an
Healing
example
power.
of success at all. The only games that bring out 6 games in a year, the only companies that bring out 6 games in a year are mobile game slot companies. Nobody's bringing out 6 games in a year.
Get that vehicle moving again.
Yeah, there's no way.
So how did this happen? Why did this happen? How does a cornerstone of the AAA industry
Capcom? I
fall
don't think
as
even
far
Capcom
from
does.
grace?
And if they do, it's an old tainted touch enough.
stronger together. Healing power. I feel better already. Judge and jury, executioner.
Games distribution is
This is real firepower!
There you are. No escaping us now.
This is from back in the day.
Or a dagger.
Before it sold over 400,000 game in Europe.
By the eye of Agamotto.
Exponential growth on the publishing side with Dreamcast.
By the eye of Agamotto.
Double kill.
Did any of you guys have a Dreamcast? Because like, am I the only one that like my mom wouldn't buy me one because of how
The
expensive
final
it
10
was?
seconds.
Dreamcast was like crazy overpriced.
Spring Racer, F1 Racing Championship, and Taxi 2. However, it was on the PlayStation
Just
We'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
great games like Bugsoft Armored
Some assistance, please.
Ring and Still Life Champions of Dora. It was during this time Ubisoft
This is real firepower!
and later Splinter Cell taking the stand.
The current
After this,
score
Ubisoft
is
went on a
2
blitz with original
to
titles, quickly
0.
rolling out sequel after sequel. Splinter Cell kicked
Time
off in
to switch things
2003
up,
with
including
Pandora
which
Tomorrow in
side you're on.
2004, Chaos Theory in 2005.
I will
Double
bring
Agent
peace
in
to this
2006.
universe.
Yeah,
no
like
matter the
I remember
cost.
these
The
games.
right heroes
You
could
guys
make
like these
all
games
the
were like as
difference.
big as COD. Like Splinter Cell was massive. I never. What's weird is like I never
Open
even
your
really liked
eyes.
Splinter Cell that much
Reality
because
is
it was a
but an
stealth game.
illusion.
I like shooting games like Halo and stuff like that. But yeah, they were massive.
Recon launched in 2002.
I will bring
and had a
peace to this
sequel in
universe,
2004,
no matter the
a next
cost.
version of it with Advanced Warfighter in 2006, Advanced Warfighter 2 in 2007, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time came out in 2003, and
I am
just
simply a
like the
man
others,
who wishes
it
to
saw
use his
rapid
power
follow-ups
for
with
good.
Warrior Within in 2004 and Two Thrones in 2005.
It was crazy to see like some of those old games that have better gameplay than what we have now. It's
They'll be
actually
coming in
nuts.
30
I don't know how
seconds.
that happened.
Stay strong.
On the mid-2000s, Ubisoft must have realized that this rapid pace was
It's
not
nice to have
sustainable,
another genuine
and
force
it
for
started to
good
affect
on
the
our
quality
side.
of their games.
My soul
Later
is not as
releases
pure
took
as
longer.
most
The
may
next Prince of
believe.
Persia game didn't appear
There's
until
darkness inside all of
2008,
us, son.
and it took 4
Understanding
years to
it is what
develop
makes
the
us
Far Cry
human.
game from
You are
original
wise
that came
beyond
out
your
in
many
2004.
years, Captain.
Despite
I want
this
eyes
intense
on this
schedule,
location.
Ubisoft is holding
The
its
battle
own against
starts in
rivals in
5,
Activision,
4,
with military
3,
shooters, and
2,
competing against Konami's
1.
Metal Gear Solid through Splinter
You have to
Cell.
stop them from
Why
securing the
do they
mission area.
stop making military games?
evil.
Do they still make
But we shall
military
restore
games?
the
I
light
think
to
they
this
don't,
forsaken world,
right? Because
no
of
matter the
COD?
cost. Watch this place
Do
carefully.
they make COD? I don't think that Ubisoft makes Call of Duty. Activision makes
A
Call
portal
of
through
Duty.
space has been opened.
They make yeah, I guess they make Rainbow Six.
Enemy ahead.
They're adding in a
You are
person in
safe
a
now,
wheelchair
my
in
friend.
Rainbow Six. It's just
Quantum Master.
I am barely harmed.
I'm hulking.
Developing licensed IPs and military shooters, it was Healing Tower 2007 Ubisoft into orbit.
Yeah, this
Balance of things. That could not stand.
I remember I never but I would see it all the time. Like that back in the day, it was everywhere. Well, I'm not gonna play myself as Rainbow Six. What? Yeah, exactly. But like, yeah, I mean, this is. I feel like Assassin's Creed is probably the one that Ubisoft is known the most for.
I require some aid.
Worldwide. That's my way. This game was far and away the best-looking game on console. Its fluid movement, hardcore, and combat felt alien. This setting of reliving our ancestors' memories while we chase a relic and try to stop the shadow government Templars was fresh and original. Assassin's Creed defined quantum mechanics and made Ubisoft a household name. Ubisoft was everywhere at this time. You'd be hard-pressed not to turn on your console or turn on your PC and see that logo pop up. And it wasn't just the games that they were making, it was the games that they were publishing.
The cosmos heals you. This is our attack
such a good eye for great
Not
games.
quite ready for
As a result, they made a ton of money. I mean, they published...
That's a yes.
I didn't even know that. I was wondering for some of the history of all the games they had published over the years.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Man, these guys were... But it wasn't just
feel
those
better
games.
already.
It was all the successes that they were seeing with the games that they were making.
Together. How do you do that? Like, that's
some assistance, please.
Because, like,
I am barely harmed.
they published Devil May Cry 3 too.
Judge!
This is real firepower!
Like, how?
I am ready to put on a show.
I am at
I
your
don't even
service.
understand. That's unbelievable.
High-quality outlook on all the games that they were creating. They were really leaning into presentation more than anything else. They wanted to make sure that their games was the best. Hands down, bar none, no competition. And they pulled it off.
Only 60 seconds
Some of
left.
my favorite shooters of all time. Even
I
more
need a
than
medic.
the Call of Duty games. They're likely the games that ended up inspiring Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1.
No, they place up.
You look at Splinter Cell and Metal
feel
Gear
better
Solid,
already.
really hard to sell that. Spy
That's the most I needed.
Down to 30 seconds.
Born again!
At this point, Ubisoft, you're buying one of their games, 9
Born again!
capitalized on it,
I have risen.
and they profited.
The
Following the
final
release
10
of Assassin's
seconds.
Creed,
Crazy to see how popular they used to be. Like, I feel like I really kind of downplayed
By
how
the
big
eye of
Ubisoft-
Agamotto!
I didn't understand how many other games they also
This is real firepower!
Yeah, all games were good. Yeah.
Back in the fight.
Ubisoft entered into the and solidified their place as one of the leaders of the industry.
You need to stop that vehicle in
Success of
tracks.
Assassin's Creed was not just a one-off hit. The flagship franchise was doing well from mission to future involvement. Quantum Match 2009 expanded the foundation for deeper gameplay again.
Also,
That
like
is not that
2009. Okay, this isn't very good. But like, if you look at the year 2009, that's really good. Well, I think this is one of the things that people might forget is that, like, I know that, like, for Black Flag and a few other games that Ubisoft did, like, their graphics were next level. They were really good.
Deeper gameplay mechanics, a more engaging narrative, and a charismatic protagonist in Ezio Auditore. Still, Quantum Match protagonist in
That's the
Rails.
most I needed. Okay.
The game was a commercial and critical success, selling over 9 million copies and becoming one of the most celebrated entries in the entire series. Success continued with
They got behind you.
10 and
Feel better already.
Go on time. I am ready to put on a show.
major successes with the Far Cry series, Far Cry 3, Quantum Match, breaking titles, redefined open world gaming, introduced horrible islands filled with diversity.
This is real firepower!
All of gaming history. These characters showing just how far Ubisoft today has fallen from where they came from. No shot Ubisoft ever makes available.
That's the boost I needed.
Only 60 seconds left.
Just need a target. I see it as my way.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them. Gotta stop that vehicle.
Born again!
I appreciate it.
So they actually just crucified their game. They crucified the games. That's
Destiny
what it was.
awaits.
Yeah, because like I watched this. Yeah. That's it. How's it good? Yeah. Because like I compare this dialogue to the dialogue in Star Wars Outlaw.
It's now or never. Stop
You know?
them.
Setting a new benchmark for open world shooters. The series continues to rise
Stop
with
that vehicle. Double KO.
formula with mechanics and narratives. By 2018, Far Cry 5 became the
I am ready to put on a show.
5 million copies within the first week, solidifying the franchise's place. In parallel with the success that they had going on with the Far Cry series, Clancy's
I feel like what really is poison for like
Only 60 seconds left.
game
Born and
has
the
like
Eye of
limits that it won't go
Agamotto.
to. And I think that's what happens with a lot of companies is that like there's like a
This is real firepower!
Final score.
that then they kind
2,
of
3.
get afraid of. They're like, now we're afraid of this edge. And I feel like it was so crazy
you
for me to
can't
play
expect to win 'em
Cyberpunk
all.
2077 and then to have right before that played Starfield. Like it was like two completely different experiences, right? And I feel like that's what's happened with a lot of these game companies is that I don't even really know why, but so many of their games are just flaccid. They're just flat, like they're just like there's no like I don't know, like I'm trying to think even like what the word is, soft. Yeah, like they're soft, like everything is saying, yeah, it's just I'm just trying to think like the best way to say it. Character soul, yeah, it's just weak. Like, yeah, the characters don't have any edge. They don't have any grit to them.
Pick your hero.
They're not
or
interesting.
Villain. I'm not judging.
Open your
I don't know.
eyes. Reality is but
They're
an
one-dimensional.
illusion.
Yeah, they're politically correct for sure. I think that's a huge problem. Yeah, like I feel like, you know what a good example of this is? Like what game like really, let's say a great example is the like Baldur's Gate 3 with like the bear sex scene, and then also the Coffin of Andy and Melee. And I think that the reason why those games like got so much attention is because like completely different levels, by the way, obviously, but like the reason why they got a lot of attention is that if it's a game where you can kill and eat your parents,
Magic is not to be owned,
you can like
but
you
to be
know
felt.
that you are experiencing
Experienced.
something that's
Believed.
not being artificially handicapped in terms of its narrative
30
direction,
seconds before you
because
attack.
the person
Get
that's writing
ready.
it is afraid of offending the wrong person on Twitter. And I
Your
think
last
that that's
said I
really
should
where the
stay away
weakness
from
comes
you.
in. That's where the problem is. It's that people
He
are
should.
self-censoring
Also, I
narratives
see you're
and
not
making
taking his
them
advice.
less complex and less interesting, because that complexity and that interest makes certain people on the internet that are really outspoken, like really upset
The
and
battle
uncomfortable.
starts in 5.
Games have
4,
weak characters and also
3,
just agenda vehicles.
2,
Well, I
1.
feel like the problem is that
All you need to do
whenever-
is
and this
capture the
kind of
mission
like
area. Got it?
is that whenever you see
So if the timelines are all
like
entangled,
or like you perceive, I think this is also very important, whenever you perceive a agenda or like a certain reason that's political or social of why something is
I
the
am
way it is in the game,
strengthened for battle.
I think that the amount of escapism that you can have in the game goes down massively. Because now you are no longer playing a fantasy
more than I have to.
you are doing
Looks like the
something
mission area is yours to capture now.
real life.
Combine.
Agenda, yeah. Yeah, immersion. Very immersion.
Siege initially launched in the reception for consistent updates and community engagement. It is now growing to one of the most popular and enduring games.
I'm the one below all.
By 2018, Rainbow Six Siege and Mafia was 30 million to play.
Thank you, Jensen.
Tom Clancy's Division in was another major hit.
Mission area is
Shooting
yours.
RPG mechanics set in a post-apocalyptic New York.
A successful operation.
Selling new IP at launch, earning $300 million in sales in the first week. It showcased Ubisoft's ability to successfully launch a new IP while still being able to maintain their existing franchises. If we take a snapshot of this, 2018,
I had no idea they had this crazy of a run. Really, like, I actually had no idea about this. This is nuts.
Ubisoft was delivering quality of
Good medicine.
At the same time, we also see a
You get away, you get away, you get away.
hammer that nail again and again.
3 is the magic
Sometimes
number.
within such quick succession that
Science and magic combined.
To year to year to year, back to back to back to back, and then they stop. And
You've captured more than
that's
half
going
of
to
the
take a
mission
toll, not only
area.
on the
Keep
developers,
going.
but also on the audience.
And it's also like another component of this is that as video games have become more expensive and people have become more conscious of the money, I think it's so because, like, again, whenever you were playing games and you were getting,
I am ready to put on a show.
while you buy it, but now I feel like people are much more money conscious.
By the eye.
So it's
almost yours.
yeah, exactly.
Control wall.
Ubisoft got to a point where they had nothing to say. Well, I feel like the problem really is that I think their biggest weakness, I'm going to be totally honest, is the fact that
Pentagram of Paran.
I think that the issue is
By the hoary hosts of
In
hope.
2018, Ubisoft was worth $24 a share. It's the highest price. It's still the highest price that they've ever been worth. And
keep in mind that the $24 a share is contextual around the company being only 1/5 in the American stock exchange. The other 4/5 are in the European stock exchange. So the actual value of that stock right there was like probably closer to $100.
that's the reflection, whether you care about share price or not.
The legions of hell are beyond
Company was
count.
worth 10 times the value that they were before they
Double
released
kill!
Assassin's Creed.
The
They were
Sorcerer
swimming in
Supreme
cash.
lives
They were
once
so
more.
successful. They were
Their
massive.
team's capture progress has
But when you
passed the
reach those
halfway
peaks,
point.
tends to be a trend that follows. And in following that trend, it's great. As Ubisoft entered into 2018, the cracks in its previously successful formula
I am
began to
strength
appear.
for
While the
battle.
company had relied on its franchise to maintain the strategy began to fail. The initial decline of the series can largely be attributed to over-reliance on established franchises, a pattern that we've seen with many major publishers.
This is what happened with Blizzard. Like they have a number of games. They haven't released an
I am
original
ready to put on a
franchise
show.
launch, I'm pretty sure, right? Like there isn't anything else that they've done. Like it's just been Diablo 4 and World of Warcraft.
Nothing here.
Yeah, and also the phone game. Well, that's not new. That's Warcraft.
I am strength.
But yeah, it's just and
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Mechanics and narratives that defined Ubisoft's titles were beginning to feel repetitive, leading to players feeling bored and fatigued with Ubisoft's design. I'll be honest, by the third Assassin's Creed, I had already tapped out because I felt like I saw the writing on the wall. Every time I watched any of the reveals or trailers,
see,
I
this
said,
is the way I feel about WoW. Like what he's explaining right now is exactly the way I feel about WoW. Is that like because I've already played it so much?
By the eye of Agamotto.
I'm like, oh, I've already been there. I've already done that.
that yeah, I've done all this before.
Fucking
This
exactly.
over-reliance on
Yep.
existing franchises resulted in a slew of releases that, while still commercially viable, lacked the innovative spark that once defined the company. Assassin's
I
Creed
admit the dimensions back together as they were within my
Despite
power.
it being a commercial success and receiving positive reviews, it didn't quite reach the heights of previous entries in the series. While it expanded upon RPG elements that were introduced in Assassin's Creed
30 seconds
Origins,
before you attack.
players and
Get
critics
ready.
alike felt that the formula was becoming stale, with the vast majority of the open world need to get your side activities, feeling more like a checklist rather than an engaging experience.
I think this is what's happened with a lot of live service, open world games, is that somebody said the comparison, like the difference between an open world game and a non-open world game, and it had like a guy and like a monster and a treasure chest, and the open world game were just like
2, 1.
It's like,
All you
okay,
need to do is
things just
capture the
take
mission
longer to
area.
do.
Got it?
Okay.
Doom is a powerful magic
Amazing,
adept.
right?
I
quit
expect
all
you will
games,
face
and I
each
think
other
also,
again.
like a big problem is that once you use this formula so many times, like I'm kind of just really games now, where like I played Star Rail, I had a lot of fun playing Star Rail, but like the fact that I can figure out everything that's happening in the Dodge game when the whole thing is in Chinese, like how the fuck, like I can't read Chinese.
Mission area is yours to capture now.
Here is an enemy to pursue. Judge, jury, executioner!
Look at the response to this mission. And Inoutria in a lot of ways is and like despite there have been a lot of people
I
who
have
expressed
unfinished
a degree
business
of
here.
fatigue with Souls-like.
I'm opening a
They
portal.
feel like we've had too many of these, and they're looking for something.
Capture the mission
And I
area.
think that's always what happens. And like for me, I
A
love
shortcut through
I get
space.
it, but I can totally understand. I can see where they're coming from. It's very mid-Souls-like, worse than Lords of Fallen. My point is that people see a Souls-like, and they're like, oh, okay, it's another Ubisoft.
Propagated a shift more of the same.
I have
Ubisoft games
unfinished
will become
business here.
predictable, drawn out, and boring. Far Cry New Dawn in 2019 suffered from the exact same issues. As a direct sequel to Far Cry 5, it attempted to build on the narrative and setting, but was seen as more of an
This
expansion
is
than a
real firepower!
The game was a commercial success to a degree, but it didn't match the sales or the impact of Far Cry 3 or Far Cry 4.
This is something like this is kind of an abstract comparison, but I can see what's happening.
I am strengthened for battle.
Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
And I think that it's an instance where doing the safe option guarantees failure. Where, like, for example, some streamers don't want to only play, like, they only want to play, like, one type of game. And
Powerful spells
eventually that's
require
going to stop
extraordinary
and people will get
patience.
tired of watching it. Like, there's a lot of WoW players.
Fast! Grace us with victory!
If it's not evolving, then you're falling behind. And I think that's true with anything. Like in any sort of a market, if you're not evolving and evolving and offering other people will, and then
Judge, jury, executioner!
Setting while a new director of the series like really resonates strongly with the player base. This underwhelming reception was indicative of a larger issue. The lack of fresh ideas and a growing formulaic approach to
The
game
mystic
design.
arts won't fail
Another
me
notable
again.
release during this period was
You'll
news
have to
about
keep
this
fighting
podcast
until we
where
have a
a lot
winner.
of bad things about them too.
2 in 2019. Now,
Yeah.
this game was
Like
well
the
received.
memes.
It had refined mechanics over the first game. The end-game content was really engaging, and it was twice the size, if not larger, than the first game. However, despite its reception, it didn't meet Ubisoft's high sales expectations. The live service model that they had injected into the game arbitrarily, while successful in Rainbow Six Siege, did not
Magic is not to be
translate
owned,
into the
but to
Division
be
2.
felt.
This is partly due to market
Experienced.
saturation, as other
Believed.
players are more invested in other live service games, but from my perspective as a fan from Division 2, the live service model just didn't work here. It felt generic.
30 seconds
in a
before
game
you
where
attack.
you're finding loot,
Get
and
ready.
that's the gameplay loop, the last thing that you want to do is buy things to wear. You
This
want to
is
stand out
not
for your
how I was
achievements in the game, not how much you spent on loot boxes.
Well, that I mean, like, fuck, man. Like, you could say that with every game. And the thing is, I can. I think that a lot of people are kind of fatigued from like every video game being full of cosmetics and shit like this. And I get how
The
like
battle
games have
starts
to
in
make money
5,
and everything.
4,
right? I understand.
3,
But
2,
at the same time,
1.
it's like there's a certain degree of
All you need to do
fatigue.
is capture the
Like
mission
you
area.
just have all
Got
these
it?
cosmetics and all this bullshit in games.
Love
Like
smashing
everything is
hard.
made into being a live service game. Does it really need to be like that? I think that the best example of this is the Suicide Squad game. That's probably the biggest example of a fuck up. but I think Division 2 might be a good example. I don't know enough about it.
I am strength.
Diminishing returns, implemented monetization, and also
Mission area is yours to capture now.
sequels and spin-offs can capitalize on established fan bases. They also run the risk of alienating players
Capture the mission area.
or injecting things into those experiences that can make them, well, something players don't want to engage with whatsoever.
Yeah.
Ubisoft's reliance on its core franchises, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and the Tom Clancy games led to a perception of the company simply reusing the same templates with minor tweaks and adding monetization.
Yeah, this is when the memes of like the Ubisoft, like if Ubisoft made Dark Souls, and it's got like a million menu items, and there's like
The
all these
mystic arts
pop-ups,
won't
and it's
fail
like
me
check the
again.
store and everything, and then the Elden Ring one as well.
I'm opening a
Yeah,
portal.
that's it.
Disappear!
Innovation and growing similarities between their titles resulted in players being less excited about their new games, and they began to see Ubisoft games as formulaic in design.
And you see like what I'm talking about how people that are
I am strength.
the same thing is the like if you just keep doing like
Judge, jury,
executioner, safely failing slowly. And I think that's what happens with a lot of people. Like,
judge, jury,
I told them,
executioner.
if I'm not looking back at my content from 3 years ago and thinking it's bad, then I'm not winning, right? I'm not getting better. Yeah, they're postponing death. Yeah, exactly.
Sprawling open worlds filled with repetitive tasks rather than unique and engaging experiences. And I think that's the most troubling thing when it comes to Ubisoft, is their aversion to criticism. Get that away from them. They're not alone in that, okay? They have plenty of other studios and journalists that are out there that feel the same way. Don't listen to
That like any group of like developers have like they've gaslighting themselves into thinking that journalists speak for gamers. Like I think this is like a huge
A successful
that like
operation.
publishers and developers are listening to these journalists and these people that are writers. You're listening to them over your actual audience. You're listening to them. You know who you need to be listening to? The YouTube channel comments. You need to be listening to the reviews from users that are finally uploaded about the game.
Grace us with
Those
victory.
are the people that actually matter. Some person that works at a company,
I am
the
strengthened
company
for
has an
battle.
important need.
I have tagged this
One
forward.
person, and they don't represent anybody other than themselves. And I think that what happens a lot is that these companies have like a very distorted view of what players want. Because they're giving that perspective to people that are not accurately representing the players. And I can offer you guys a very easy example. Like your needs desires as a player are accurately reflected by the way that
You captured
different
more than
games
half of the
companies
mission
cover
area. Keep going.
Do you think that they're accurately reflected, right? Exactly, no. And so, yes, what the problem is, when you make decisions based off of that,
I am
everything goes down. Well, 9 times out of 10, players don't know how to voice their criticism effectively. Oftentimes, they're mean when they say things. Year after year, Ubisoft has completely failed to
judge, jury, executioner.
People have been saying for years how formulaic their design is.
By the eye of Agamotto.
I can't wait, huh? Really excited.
I am strength.
Ubisoft game is just going to be a checklist simulator. Everybody still remembers
with like your pouch is kind of annoying to do on keyboard. But like none of the people that play the games that are these developers like played the game enough to
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
Best game we've had. One of the best games we've had in the last decade.
one of the
Why
best
would
games.
you look at a game like that, look at the success that it sees, and say we can internalize some of the things that this game did well, why players liked it, and then reflect that in our games going forward?
That's actually a really good point, is that Star Wars Outlaws came out after Elden Ring. So this is like an open world game